Okay, friends, these are pretty, and yes, they were painted with professional watercolors, but you don't need the fancy watercolors to have a joyful art making experience. I've got all of the watercolors, friends, but today I'm going to eat my own words and use Crayolas to make something fantastic and something that makes me feel good. Let's find the crappiest brush imaginable. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. So use the brush that comes in the Crayola set or whatever. Use a brush that doesn't even come to a point. This one is from Amazon. It was 25 cents. And you guys know how I feel about this paper, but I'm going to use it today because I want to prove to you that you don't have to have the best supplies or anything even close to the best to have a joyful painting experience that gives you life. So I'm using the crappy brush and we are making side view flowers with some oranges and yellows. So I'm pressing down and dragging at a curve and then adding a few little shorter marks around that curve here and there. Now, admittedly, Crayolas have like a little bit of a gelatinous quality to them when they're wet and juicy, but it's okay. They still work. They still put color on the page and they still create joy. Okay, before we go any further, let me know in comments if you've tried Crayolas and you were kind of surprised, like they made some happy art for you. Here's the thing, friends. I would rather you pick up supplies today, this moment, in the next half hour that are available to you, but they're really kind of junky, than you not paint at all today and wait for the order from Amazon to come. The point is making okay art today versus making possibly slightly better art in a week. There's no difference except you're putting off your joy. So I'm painting a bouquet. It's like a wispy, whimsical watercolor bouquet. And I'm literally using the same kind of strokes over and over again. Those side view flowers are turning into front facing flowers with just a few extra curved strokes. Press, drag, and lift on a curve going around an invisible center. If you want to get more insight in how to create these kind of simple filler type flowers, watch this video now. It's such a good one. I'm adding in some hangy, dangly type flowers with just a few strokes of color descending in size and drooping on a curve. And I'm adding in some more of those side view flowers with a little bit of red. But you can see, friends, these are all similar types of strokes. Now, some thin green strokes to resemble stems starting to all converge towards the bottom, which would be where your wildflower bouquet would be held. And keep it light, keep your arm loose and light, and you will create those beautiful, effortless looking strokes that are stems before you know it. Now, while I hope you get something out of this video in terms of technique, it really isn't an instructional video. This is a motivational video because I want you to take that spark of motivation you feel and turn it into something you paint today, something you refuse to put off. And that's the point. I want you to get to a point in your creative journey where you refuse to put off your joy. And yeah, sometimes that's going to mean using kind of the worst materials possible because it's what you have. Literally, I've been in situations where I finger paint with mud because I'm so inspired, but I don't even have any watercolor with me. I kid you not. I feel like that needs to be a video. Anywho, here, I'm going to give you a little bit more instruction just to make sure you stay motivated. So the thing with Crayola watercolors, they actually are shockingly vibrant, especially if you spray down the whole palette first, like you know I love to do. The tip that I have for you though is to make sure you're using a lot of water with those pigments because otherwise they can start to feel a little bit like tempera paint or acrylic paint. You know, the stuff that you used in grade school art class underhand if you're not using enough water. But let me tell you, Crayolas hold their own when you use enough water with them. They really do feel like watercolor. I'm continuing to build this bouquet. I'm using reds, oranges, yellows, and just alternating back and forth with creating kind of flowing vine-like flowers. and side view flowers, front facing flowers, those daisy-like blooms that you see me doing over and over again here. I have added in a few berry-like shapes, but these are simple shapes that take just a few moments to create. That's the point. Get a few shapes in your head, keep repeating them at different sizes and different intensities of color, and you have all you need to have a 10-minute painting session right now, right in this moment. So there are some of those berries. I'm mixing in some thin stems, super, super thin with a very light touch. And then I'm also mixing in some actual leaves. Now you may be wondering and noticing that I'm not mixing on a palette, and I'm definitely going from one color to another in my palette, and that might be freaking you out a bit. So watch this video and see all about my approach to mixing color. It's going to shock you. Continuing to fill out my bouquet, and at this point I'm just adding dots and dabs all throughout. I am moving throughout the bouquet as I work, not getting fixated on any one point. And this is another point to bring up about Crayolas. Friends, the point of Crayolas in a pinch, when you don't have anything else on hand, isn't to create the next masterpiece. Because if you try to create super layered, super dynamic depth and all that kind of stuff with Crayolas, lots of detail, that's when you're probably going to get frustrated. If you stay in this whimsical, loose, modern watercolor zone, you're going to be feeling good. You're actually going to be like, go you Crayolas, instead of being frustrated with them. So just something to keep in mind. Set your expectations for the Crayolas, friends. And I can't imagine ending this painting session any other way but with some spatter, loading up that cheap Amazon brush and tapping it onto another and letting the paint fly. It adds that certain just je ne sais quoi to this painting at this point and leaves me feeling like I am a watercolor superstar. I'm like the Inspector Gadget of watercolor palettes right now, and that's a good feeling, and that's essentially joy. It's not me bragging, friends. That's joy, and I want you to feel that. So tell me in comments, promise me you're going to go grab the Crayolas, whatever you got, the prang, and get to it. Happy painting, friends. And if you've loved this video, I want you to just watch this one next. I'm so excited for you to see it.